Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now, let's start the show. And welcome to Speak for Yourself, Marcellus Wiley. There's Emmanuel Acho. What's up, big dog? How you feel?
My guy. What's up with it, bro?
Man, I never seen somebody throw in the white towel like that. The white flag is surrendering in the swag wars. Look at me and look at him. Hopefully he sounds better than he looks right now. Let's get it started in Philly. What are you doing? There's breaking news for the Eagles. Doug Peterson has named rookie Jalen Hurts as his starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Saints. Hurts replaced Carson Wentz in the third quarter last Sunday and threw a touchdown pass in the loss to the Packers. Wentz is having the worst year of his career and now will be on the pine, on the bench. So, Acho, do you agree with the Eagles' decision to start Jalen Hurts in your button up?
It's dumb, and it's dumb. Marcellus Wiley, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm talking about C-E-N-T-S, not S-E-N-S-E. It doesn't make any sense to start Jalen Hurts. There's a litany of reasons why, but let's start with the most pressing issue at hand. Carson Wentz, $59 million in dead cap money over these next few years. So what's your plan, Philadelphia Eagles? Like, what's your plan really? Is it to hope that Jalen Hurts balls out these last 4 games? Maybe you make the playoffs, but maybe you don't. And then what do you do next year? Bench Carson Wentz, who will make $962,000 per game, to Jalen Hurts' $880,000 for the whole season. So that don't make sense. Okay. Maybe Jalen Hurts goes out there and struggles. Now what? You're going to put Carson Wentz back in? It's a lose-lose situation, Marcellus. And the situation became a lose-lose situation as soon as they drafted Jalen Hurts. Why do I say that? Marcellus, what is the thief of all joy? Comparison.
Yeah.
The comparison. What you got to realize is this. Philadelphia Eagles, for better or for worse, y'all are betrothed to Carson Wentz. Y'all are in a marriage with Carson Wentz. Y'all have kids, okay? You ain't going nowhere. So what good, Marcellus Wiley, sir married man, what good does it do you to go on a date with the hot secretary? What good does it do you to go on a date with the hot coworker? Because you are betrothed to Carson Wentz. So if you have a good time on this date with Jalen Hurts, it's not like you can leave Carson Wentz. If you have a bad time on this date with Jalen Hurts, you still got to go back to Carson Wentz, but now he knows you stepped out on him. So the decision to move to Jalen Hurts doesn't make any sense fiscally, doesn't make any sense emotionally. That's just where I'm going to start on my first lap, Sal. That's just where I'm going to start on my first lap.
Good lap. You got me a little tired on that lap. I didn't finish the complete 400 with you, Coach. I tapped out around 380, but you were moving on that lap. I like what you said there. You basically tapped into your inner DJ Quick, and I didn't know you were a DJ Quick fan. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And you can go with C or S. It doesn't make sense to Acho. Makes a whole lot of sense to me, man. I think you've forgotten where you came from, Acho. You used to be in that locker room. Used to be in that exact same locker room. Not even me, but I've been on the field before. And I've seen a franchise, because they're hooked to a player financially, that they forget everything else that goes on in terms of team dynamics. If I'm on this team right now, one of the 51 other guys, because Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, y'all are in the quarterback controversy. Y'all have to settle that, and we're going to let the powers upstairs be the referee. But if you're talking about the other 51 players like me, Oh, man, you got to put Jalen Hurts in. This is a smart decision if you're Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is into self-preservation, just like all of us are when we're playing sports at the professional level. Business first. And let's talk about the business of Doug Peterson, why he put Jalen Hurts in. One, he needs to detach himself from the sinking ship, which is known as USS Carson Wentz. He has to get off. He has to bail. He like, hell no. Everybody is now questioning me as a coach because this dude can't play quarterback all of a sudden. And trust me, I'm the quarterback whisperer. How in the hell now does my quarterback not know how to perform at an adequate level? Not even up to his contract. Just at a league average level. He has regressed to the point where if you look at this full screen, it's amazing how broken Carson Wentz is. Broken wings. 30th passer rating. 31st completion percentage. Passing yards per attempt, 30th. 26 yards per game. Oh, we cracked the top 20 in passing touchdowns at 19. Most giveaways. There's no way Doug Peterson can continue to drown with Carson Wentz. This is some advice they give you in lifeguard school. In lifeguard school, they say, go out there and save somebody, but don't let both of you guys drown. What does that mean? If they're fighting, if they don't want the help, if they can't help you come back to shore, make sure both of you don't drown. Doug Peterson's not drowning with Carson Wentz.
But here's the issue, Sal, which you are not considering, and nor is Doug Peterson, apparently.
Okay.
The tide in which they have to face this upcoming week is the roughest tide of all the oceans in the entire world. The Saints defense, the last 5 games, #1 in scoring defense, #1 in total defense, #1 in total pressures, #2 in sacks in these last 5 games. So not only are you throwing Jalen Hurts out there, his first start, but you're going to throw him out there in his first start against the best team in football, best team currently in football on a 9-game winning streak, held their opponents the last 5 games to 3 points, 13 points, 9 points, 6 points? Like, you're putting Jalen Hurts in a position to fail. But here's what I don't get. It's not like they're replacing Carson Wentz with, I don't know, Peyton Manning in his prime. You're replacing him with the rookie Jalen Hurts that made some splash plays. And I told y'all, I've loved Jalen Hurts since Alabama, loved Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma. But Jalen Hurts got sacked 3 times, counted up, and against the Packers. Jalen Hurts, he threw an interception too. It's not like he played a perfect game. Is Jalen Hurts going to make Alshon Jeffrey lose weight? Is Jalen Hurts going to keep Jason Peters on the field? Is Jalen Hurts going to bring Lane Johnson back from the surgery operating room? Is Jalen Hurts going to help Greg Ward grow 5 to 6 inches? Is Jalen Hurts going to make Boston Scott Barry Sanders? I don't know, Marcellus. So you act as though Jalen Hurts is some cure-all, some magical elixir that you can buy somewhere on Venice Beach somewhere. The fact of the matter is, sure, he provided a spark. The spark led to a loss. Carson Wentz, no spark, still a loss. I don't like to lose pretty. It doesn't make a difference to me how glamorous the outcome is if the outcome is still the outcome.
Look, you can't make that assumption. You can't make that leap that they're going to lose or that they're going to struggle with Jalen Hurts. He's a big question mark right now. But what do you have to lose if you put Jalen Hurts out there? He can't literally be worse than Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz is literally at the bottom of most major statistical categories. So this is a situation, man. Look, Fast and Furious 9 is supposed to be out right now. It's coming out next year. You got to hit the nitrous. You can't just be sitting there losing in the race. We're talking about a quarterback competition. And in that quarterback competition, because now it's a controversy, we're going to let you stand on your own merits. Oh, we can't do that with Jalen Hurts because in 10 games, he's only had 33 snaps and only 1 snap where Carson Wentz wasn't on the field. So what do you do if you're Doug Peterson? Okay, I'm going to give you first-team reps this week. Okay, I'm going to let you have chemistry with this offense because I know how we look with Carson Wentz. But I'm not so certain how we look, if not better, with you, Jalen Hurts. Let's think about this. Jalen Hurts averaged 9.1 yards per attempt on Sunday. The last time we saw that from Carson Wentz was in Week 8 of 2018. My two youngest kids weren't even born yet. Week 8 of 2018 is the last time we saw Carson Wentz even do something similar to what we saw from Jalen Hurts in just 4 series. Oh, I'm not done with you. In just 4 series, Hurts had 2 completions of 20-plus air yards. You know how long it took Carson Wentz to get those same 2 completions? 2 full games. Jalen Hurts, 4 drives. Carson Wentz, 2 full games. The point is, the contrast is so stark, it's so different that now we just got to go and see what's in the bush. I know we got a bird in the hand, but that bird is dying in Carson Wentz. It's time to go with the 2 in the bush, and hopefully that's the nitrous and Jalen Hurts in his production.
So here's what you don't understand, sir. Here's what you don't understand.
I don't understand.
What's the point in playing Jalen Hurts? Even if you win. No, even if you win, Sel, what do you win? It's kind of like Floyd Mayweather. Who he about to fight? Logan Paul, Jake Paul, one of them Pauls? Even if Floyd wins, what do you win?
Oh, I got you.
If the Eagles win with Jalen Hurts, the Eagles currently have a 7% chance of making the playoff. 7%. There is a 100% chance they owe Carson Wentz $25 million next year. By the 3rd day of the league year, March 2021, they owe him $15 million for 2022. There's a 7% chance you make the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz. It don't matter. 7%. It's a 100% chance you owe Carson Wentz this bread. So when you look at it, even if Jalen Hurts goes out there and beats the Saints, which would be great, as an Eagles fan, it would be fantastic, you still don't win anything except more and more and more controversy.
Man, look, stop that. Because you just keep umbrelling this entire situation by the financial scope. So what I learned in debate school, even though I never went to a class, is I'm going to beat you at your argument using your own words, your own rhetoric. Let's stay in this financial scope. Okay. I wonder who played in the Super Bowl in terms of financial scope last year. Oh, it was the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. But let's stay in the financial scope. That was the team that spent the most money against the cap versus the team that spent the least money against the cap. You know what that tells me, Acho? That you can find a team that can compete for a championship by spending the most or spending the least. Even if you're getting taxed because you got the Titanic on your roster by the name of Carson Wentz, that's how bad he's playing, you still will give yourself an opportunity to contend for a Super Bowl championship. This is not a Super Bowl roster this year, but this is a team that still can make some noise and potentially get in at least the playoffs. If you get in the playoffs with Jalen Hurts, and then you just come to the realization, no matter how much we spend, we still have an opportunity to contend, guess what you can do next year? Run it back. And I know it's some dead money on your roster. The Titanic is sinking on your roster financially, but you can still run it back to make sure that 51, if not now 52 guys are all a part of the fold, are all a part of the team concept. And you leave the Titanic, Carson Wentz, over there to sink and drown in all his dead money.
So, yes, you can make some noise, but it'll be white noise, no racist pun intended. It's just going to be noise just being there. Like, you're not actually making legitimized noise. Look at it like this, Sal. Eagles got the Saints, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, and they got Washington. 4 games left. Saints, Cardinals, Cowboys, Washington. Carson Wentz could beat the Cardinals, can beat the Cowboys, can beat Washington. I don't think that he could beat the Saints. So best case scenario, you're playing a quarterback that might, maybe, somehow, possibly be able to win you 1 more game than Carson Wentz. Best case scenario. Because even Carson Wentz, as bad as he has been, as bad as he's been the duration of the season, we know he can beat the Cowboys. We know he can beat Washington, and the Cardinals are struggling worse or just as bad as any other team we've seen right now. So best case scenario, you're going to start all this drama for what? For a spark? For 5 for 12, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, a 67 passer rating? You gonna start all of this drama for a spark? Like that's what I don't get. And I understand like the other media using terms like the spark, but you, Sel, You know better than to come out here and act as though Jalen Hurts is going to miraculously revive all the players that have been missing in action for 12, 13 weeks of the Eagles season thus far. The Carson Wentz issues aren't exclusively Carson Wentz. They haven't been exclusively Carson Wentz, and they will continue to not be exclusively Carson Wentz. Unless Jalen Hurts is going to miraculously fix everybody else on the roster, the Eagles still have the same issues they had before they started what Hurts. And now you got that compounding issue as well.
Okay, now you went too damn far, all right? I know you're not here right now, and I can't physically put these hands, these paws on you right now. But I dare you damn my media peers by saying they can use the word spark, but not you. When Doug Peterson is the one that put that out there for all of us to consume. He said, I needed a spark. And he also said we did get some extra energy, some extra juice, and just 4 drives from Jalen Hurts. So look, Acho, I love you, big dog. You know it from the head to toe. But trust me, I don't trust you when it comes to predictions. I don't trust you when it comes to predictions, especially in the NFC East. How the Giants doing right now, Acho, since you said they only going to have 2 wins, and now they're sitting there.
How the Cowboys doing? How the Cowboys doing?
How the Cowboys? They still in it as well. That's my point. You already had this concrete sold in the way that you thought it was going to be going in week 2, week 3, week 4. We are not there now, Acho. Look at where we are. Let me highlight. Give me this second. Please. Let me highlight how bad Carson Wentz is, because Doug Peterson is trying to separate himself from Carson Wentz to highlight that same difference as well. Wentz is the first quarterback since Blake Bortles to have 15 interceptions and 50 sacks in the season. And Wentz did it in 12 games. It took even Blake Bortles 16 games to get there. But that's not good enough for you, big dog. Let me give you another nugget, because you know I'm the nugget king over here. In the last decade, only 3 quarterbacks Shut your trap. Only 3 quarterbacks have started 10-plus games, completion percentage under Mendoza line, 60%, interception rate over 3%, which you know is bad, had a sack rate over 10%, and that's Carson Wentz. Listen to these other 2 names, though. Josh Rosen, how he doing? How Josh Rosen doing with his cocky butt? And Blake Bortles once again. You are in Blake Bortles territory, and you have a defense for Carson Wentz? How can you, bruh?
Because here's the problem. Sel. Where am I basing my knowledge off of? Howie Roseman, Eagles general manager, as soon as he drafted Jalen Hurts, what Howie Roseman say? He said nobody's going to be looking at a rookie quarterback as somebody who's going to be coming in, taking over a Pro Bowl quarterback and a guy who's been on the cusp of winning an MVP. I'm sorry, Marcellus Wiley, if I listened to management for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry, Marcellus Wiley, if I actually did my homework and said, wait a second, Howie said this after drafting Jalen Hurts. Well, if Howie said it, I'm going to believe it because he does run the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry if I paid attention in class when people were speaking. Don't blame me. The issue at hand for me is very simple. The Eagles made this bad. Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz was set up to fail from the beginning of the season. Marcellus Wiley, you know what the Pygmalion effect is?
I heard about it.
It's a little psychological term. Pygmalion effect, it's basically self-fulfilling prophecy. The Eagles put Carson Wentz in a position to fail. So what you expect was going to happen? He failed. They're failing. Now, if Jalen Hurts succeeds, great for the Eagles, but Jalen Hurts is not in a position to succeed again because he's playing a top-tier defense, and even if he does succeed, the Eagles are betrothed to Carson Wentz. So Doug Peterson's decision, it makes no sense with the C or with an S.
It's amazing how you use Howie's words against him, but you don't see the entire picture, just like Howie didn't on draft night as well. There were only 2 scenarios. We talked about this yesterday. Door 1, Carson Wentz goes out there and excels, and no one even thinks about Jalen Hurts because Carson Wentz, former MVP candidate, former number 2 overall draft pick, and a guy that has been on the roster while you won a Super Bowl is protected. And Howie was thinking like you, Acho, and door number 2. Carson Wentz, damn it, you got hurt once again. Oh, that's fine because we have a cheap insurance policy behind you in our 2nd round pick with Jalen Hurts. But Howie is waking up to a different reality now, just like I am, just like you are, Acho, which is there is a door number 3. And what's behind door number 3? Carson Wentz sucks. And no one ever thought that. That was unforeseeable, that Carson Wentz will regress to the point where that cheap insurance policy has to get cashed in. We know it doesn't make financial sense, but it certainly makes football sense. Coming up at the top of the hour, the Ravens and Cowboys both need a win tonight. Well, we'll tell you which team needs it more. But first, Lamar Jackson's squad has lost 3 straight games. We'll tell you if his Ravens are contenders or pretenders. Next, speak for yourself.
What's up, Speak for Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before 2 something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I welcome in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Ravens are favored by 8.5 points tonight at home against the Cowboys, according to Fox Bet. Baltimore has dropped 3 straight, but should get a boost with Lamar Jackson expected to make his return. The Ravens are 6-5 and currently out of the AFC playoffs. So, Acho, are Lamar's Ravens contenders or pretenders?
Big dog, I've been telling you this one, they're pretenders, and it's actually impossible to try to find a way to reason them into contention. I tried. I spent an hour this morning trying to say, how can I convince myself that the Ravens are, in fact, contenders? Maybe they've beat a lot of playoff teams. No, they're 2-4 versus playoff teams. Okay, let me think about their big wins this season. They beat the Browns week 1 with the Browns' first-year head coach in his first game as a head coach in a new organization. Maybe they beat the Chiefs. No, they didn't beat the Chiefs. Surely they beat the Steelers. No, they didn't beat the Steelers. Maybe they beat the Titans and avenged their loss from the playoffs last year. No, they didn't do that. Okay, maybe they haven't been on any bad losing streaks lately. Well, they've lost 3 games in a row. Maybe they beat, Sal, I'm out. I've been out. I tried to find ammo. I tried to find ammunition. I tried to reason my way due to my affinity and my love for Lamar Jackson into making them contenders. Fact of the matter is, they're not. Their record, their wins versus non-divisional opponents, let's talk about that record. 20-27-1. Who have they beat, Marcellus Wiley? The Bengals, the Texans, the Eagles. Like, who do you have to sit here and say, yeah, these Ravens as contenders, all right? No, they have not done anything. If you're talking to me, Sel, about the Ravens the first 6 weeks of the season, I'd be like, I bet they're contenders. If you're talking to me about last year's Ravens, I'd be like, yeah, they contenders. But if you're talking to me about these Ravens right here, right now, they're not contenders. In football, you are either getting better or you are getting worse. You, Marcellus Wiley, reassured me of that just a few weeks ago. Your words, not mine. The Ravens are getting significantly worse, not contenders at all.
Oh, man, they are contenders. And you said it took you an hour to come up with nothing. You should have kept looking and you should have called your boy. Oh, you can't call me because I told you until you show up in studio and dress like an adult and be a professional, I don't want to talk to you on the phone. And that's what happens. But you got to be greater than your greatest excuse, Acho. And an hour is not long enough for you to look at this team for what it is. What you have just listed was the schedule team by team in your own order. But let's sum all of that up, Acho. You know what I heard? That the Ravens have played the toughest overall schedule in the NFL. Oh, did I say that? Yeah. Did the Ravens play that? Yeah. How about this going forward? The Ravens have the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. Did I just say that? Yeah. Are the Ravens going to play those type of teams? Yeah. They're going to play bottom half defense, especially pass defense teams going forward as they start off tonight against the Cowboys. So look at the Ravens for all of who they are. This is a team that has underachieved in terms of expectations in the win-loss column. But I think that they're trying to reconfigure a formula for success in the postseason, which means they're going to travel a different direction to that same postseason. And if you look at them right now, December, when winning football matters most, how you finish the season and go into the playoffs hot, let's look at this team, especially its MVP, excuse me, its unanimous MVP from last year. Look at them in December. This is their record, 8-1. Oh, Lamar Jackson doesn't lose in December, just one time. Touchdown to interception ratio, rushing yards per game, and passer rating, all great numbers. This is a team that's hitting its stride and is going to hit its spot right now because of the time of year. How is that irrelevant?
That whole full, please remove the full screen. Remove the full screen.
No, I got to go somewhere then. Let's go.
This whole year, Lamar Jackson has undermined all of his success from previous years. Lamar Jackson, prior to this year, he only loses to the Chiefs. You know that as well as I know that. He loses to the Chiefs and he loses in the playoffs. This year, dude lost to the Titans again. Dude lost to the Steelers twice. Dude lost to the Chiefs again. Like, don't tell me about the history of Lamar Jackson when this year has proven all of those great numbers we used to be able to fall back on for Lamar Jackson. We can't fall back on those numbers anymore. You're showing me archaic stats. And the reason they're archaic is because in the NFL, things change week after week, and they for sure change one year after the next. Stop using those black and white full screens, sir.
Oh, wow. You want to go there? Okay, well, since you want to try to nitpick, they didn't lose to the Steelers twice. They only played them once. So they only lost to the Steelers once. You're already lying to America. Second of all, if you look at this team.
They lost to the Steelers twice this year, sir.
Lamar.
They lost last week.
Lamar. Who was on the MVP? Who's on this? The real MVP.
About the Ravens.
My full screen says the real MVP. Who's leading this team, Acho? Come on, baby. Stay specific with me, brother. It takes more than an hour to dig into these details. Here's the thing about this team. This is a team that looks at Lamar Jackson and says, you know what? We still got that defense, Lamar Jackson. You know what we carry in terms of defensive production. Ravens, right now, third in scoring defense with the second rushing attack with Lamar Jackson at the quarterback position. You got to understand that they've been rocked by COVID as well. They have not lived up to expectations in terms of hype, but in terms of trying to figure out a winning formula, they're in the lab right now. And since you have the Cowboys sitting there right there on your plate, it's time for the Ravens to eat. Let's bring in somebody who understands where I'm coming from, who spends a little more time on his prep than an hour. Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. So, Greg, are Lamar's Ravens contenders or pretenders?
This one was a tough one for me because I like the Ravens a lot defensively. I do not like them offensively, but because of who they are, I would say they are contenders. They are contenders because of their schedule, their remaining schedule. And when you look at their remaining schedule and you look at the teams, what they can't do, these teams aren't run-stopping teams, and this is what favors the Baltimore Ravens. This is who they are. This is a front-running team. This is a team that likes to get leads and likes to be able to stay within their offensive scheme of running the ball with Lamar Jackson and this plethora of running backs that they have behind this offensive line. If you get a lead on this team struggles. They don't throw the ball well when they're down, when they're forced to do something outside of their comfort zone. And that's why it's a hard one. But because of the remaining schedule in these teams and what they can't do, I still say that this team is a contender.
Let me get this straight. Gentlemen. Let me get this straight. I've lost so much respect for y'all in a matter of minutes. So y'all are telling me this. Greg, if you and Marcellus were both in high school, let's take y'all back to high school like 35 years ago. When y'all were both, in high school, y'all going to tell me this. If you take an easy test, all of a sudden that makes you intelligent. If you take an easy test and you pass it, that makes you intelligent. That's what you gentlemen are doing. You all are saying, well, their remaining schedule's incredibly easy. So because their schedule's easy and they'll likely win those games, that makes them contenders. What about the fact that against playoff teams, they're 2-4? Now, when I hear contender, I'm talking about contention for a Super Bowl, something you, Greg Jennings, have. Now, unless you've lowered your bar substantially to say they're contending to make the playoffs, okay, we can have that conversation at a later time, but let's not have that on television when we're getting paid money to have legitimized conversations. But if you're telling me that they're in contention to win a Super Bowl because they get to play the Bengals and the Giants and the Jaguars and the Cowboys, no, sir. Passing an easy test does not make you any smarter. It does not make you a genius. And beating bad teams does not make you a contender. Come on, y'all.
No, Acho, I'm with you 100%. And I'm not going to try to navigate my way through this. They are contenders, in my opinion, to make the playoffs. As far as Super Bowl contention, no, sir. No, I'm with you there. I am 100% with you. But as far as getting into the playoffs, that's the start. And we all understand you have to get in to give yourself an opportunity. Do I feel like they will advance to the Super Bowl? No, I do not. I don't. I'm not going to even try to defend this Ravens team. They're not worth it.
I need you guys to understand that Acho just tried to put this conversation in his vacuum instead of what we talked about in totality, which is it's not just the easiest schedule remaining. It's the fact that they've already played the hardest schedule in the NFL. What does that mean? When iron sharpens iron. This is a team that will be battle tested when it finds itself in the playoffs this year, and it will be a team that has went through the wars and battles of an NFL season with this type of schedule. You know what that tells me? A team that last year that everyone thought that they knew and figured out and was like, oh, put them in the AFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl, at 14-2, but they were one and done. So admit what you know, and more importantly, admit what you don't know. Last year, you were wrong about this team. Potentially, this year, you could be wrong about this team, Acho, in terms of the way that they get there and what they could do when they get there.
Hey! Huh? You're not gonna lie on my takes from last year, sir.
I don't know what you were doing at the other net
last year.
Well, I don't know what you were thinking, but I know you didn't think they were one and done in the playoffs. I know that much. So sometimes
Greg, tell him watch his mouth. Tell him watch his mouth when he speaks to me, Greg.
Sometimes you gotta know what you don't know. And in this situation, this is a team that's gonna get itself healthy and hopefully find itself a groove once it approaches playoff time. What's gonna allow them to get that good feeling, get some of that confidence, and get that groove? The easiest schedule remaining. So that's the only time I use that as consideration. It's going to allow them the opportunity to get into playoffs. No team in the AFC looks unbeatable, including Kansas City. We saw Pittsburgh get knocked off yesterday by the Washington football team. We saw Kansas City lose earlier in the year to the Las Vegas Raiders and have a bunch of close games. So let's not act like if they get into the playoffs, all of a sudden they can't make some hay. Coming up, Pittsburgh took their first L of the year last night. Speaking of the Steelers, we'll tell you if we're worried about the Steelers next. Speak for yourself. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Steelers were perfect 11-0, but Washington shocked Pittsburgh with their first loss of the year yesterday. Steelers only rushed for 21 yards and blew a 14-point lead. Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception with 2 minutes left in the game that ended any shot of staying undefeated. Mike Tomlin talked about embracing their latest adversity. Take a listen.
Different points along the journey, you get a chance to learn about yourself, who you are, what you're made of, individually and collectively. And it takes the journey to reveal that. And so, we're faced with a loss now, so we'll get an opportunity to smile in the face of it.
Man, I love everything Tomlin says. Goodness. Greg is back with us, but Acho, are you worried about the Steelers?
Fellas, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I've been worried about the Steelers. And let me tell on myself. See, I'm a little bit of a punk because I've been worried about the Steelers, but I didn't want to say anything because the Steelers 11-0. So then I look stupid. I look like the guy saying, how can you be worried about a team that's undefeated? It's like saying the one girl who everybody finds universally attractive. You're like, no, she's just not that cute to me. Like, that's how I felt about the Steelers. Like, no, they're just not that good to me. But now that they got this loss, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Yes, I'm worried about the Steelers because the Steelers have been kind of an imposter all season. What do I mean by that? They have an incredible defense, But the greatest coaches that have coached the game that are still living have recently said, hey, it's an offensive league now. Let's talk about Nick Saban in college, who recently said, hey, defense is cool, But really, you need a firepower offense to win. So that's what I mean when I say the Steelers are an imposter. They're an imposter because their formula for winning, which is defensive, as a former linebacker in the NFL, I love, but that no longer works to always truly win. You got to be able to go on offense. So what do the Steelers do on offense? They only have 44 plays this season plus 20 yards. Put that in perspective. The Chiefs have 59 plays this season, 20 yards or more. Chiefs are number 1. Steelers are number 19 in that category. So, yes, your defense being baller and being stout, that will do you good. But will it really do you good? Can we look at some of the quarterbacks that these Steelers have played this season so I can let y'all know exactly why I've been worried about them? You know, you'll see some names on there like Drew Lock and Jeff Driscoll, Carson Wentz, Garrett Gilbert, Joe Burrow, rookie, Jake Luton, RG3, and Trace McSorley. So on their road to being 11-0, which is how they started the season, look at them quarterbacks. They weren't even facing the best of some of those teams' quarterbacks. They caught some breaks. You can only beat the teams on your schedule. I get that. But I've been worried about these Steelers, and now my worry is justified.
Interesting right there. I knew you were lying all along as soon as you started to talk because your first sentence was, let me keep it real with y'all. What do you do all the other takes? What do you do all the other times? If they say real talk, I probably don't trust you.
Probably won't trust you.
Can't trust that take right there. So the Steelers are not imposters. I am not worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know why they're not imposters? Because no one said that they were perfect. Except their record before last night. They had a perfect record, but do you think they were a perfect team? Absolutely not. I even give you some ammunition right now, Acho. This team is leading the NFL in drops. Deontay Johnson, stop dropping the damn ball. Boy, got skills out there, but you continue to drop the football, leading the league in drops. We saw it again last night. We saw them drop 7 passes against the Ravens. They dropped 5 passes, making Tomlin have to go out there and say, you got to make the routine plays routinely because that affects the entire group. That affects the flow. And now you find yourself in a position where all of a sudden you blow a 14-point lead. The Pittsburgh Steelers blowing a 14-point lead, second largest lead in home franchise history that they've blown. Ben Roethlisberger is 109-2-1 in situations where he has a 14-point lead. So that was an anomaly last night in terms of them losing it. But let's talk about why this is a good team, elite team, contending team. If you look at them simply, this is a team that had a perfect record up to week 13 in conference play. 6 other teams have done that in NFL history. 4 of those teams went to the Super Bowl, and 2 won it. They're in good company right now. If you look at what they have in terms of balance, in terms of what they can do on the defensive side, and as soon as they get James Conner back and the all-pros center and Pouncey, you're going to see this offense flow like you saw it in weeks past. So I am not worried about the Steelers at all.
I'm with you, Marcellus. I'm not worried about the Steelers team. Do they have some concerns right now? Yeah. Yes. But if you look at all other 31 other teams, everyone has things that they're addressing right now in this very moment as they meet. But the Steelers team, they have something that a lot of teams don't have. They can rush the passer. They can defend. They can get the ball back to their offense that can do something that the Baltimore Ravens struggle to do, which is throw the ball. Yes, they struggle rushing the ball, and they will improve. As Marcellus just said, you're missing Mark Pouncey, your center, all-pro guy. You're missing James Conner, who is the head of that rushing attack. So when you get that back, you will shore that up. You will at least get better. But when you can throw the ball, and yes, have we had drops? Of course. They do need to get better. Eric Ebron is another name that comes to mind when I watch those guys in their dropsies. But those guys also make plays, and they have the capability of coming back, overcoming adversity. Anytime you have an offense that has a defense in their back pocket like that, and they can still move the ball down the field with the passing game, you have a chance. Ben Roethlisberger is playing the best football in arguably in his entire career, especially when we talk about protecting the football. So anytime you protect the football, you get turnovers and you can throw the ball in the air, you have a recipe for success.
Here's a problem, though, G. I don't know if you're still living under the myth of Ben Roethlisberger as far as moving the ball down the field. Because the stats about Ben Roethlisberger moving the ball down the field, they don't really support that. Since week 7, 3 for 23 on big play passes. That's passes traveling 25-plus yards through the air. He was 1 for 4 on that pass Monday. Ben Roethlisberger, he only completes 13% of those passes. Aaron Rodgers, 48%. Mahomes, 45%. Russell Wilson, 35%. So when you're talking about moving the ball down the field in chunks, we don't really see that out of the Steelers. Why does that matter? Because as a defender in the National Football League, our defensive coordinators would always say this: make offenses methodically drive the ball down the field. Eventually, they will mess up. If you give them the big play, that's what they want. But if you make them have to work 12, 13, 14 play drives, all it takes, G, and you know this better than me, 1 holding penalty, 1 false start, 1 sack, 1 drop snap, 1 drop pass. The Steelers, until they can get that big play offense going, that's where I have my concerns. Because since Le'Veon Bell left, where do they rank rushing? 31st, 29th, 29th. Connor and Pouncey have missed the last 2 weeks, last 2 games. I get that. But it's not like they missed the whole season. The Steelers are still just a passing offense right now, and you're a passing offense that can't create the big play. I'm worried only as it compares to Super Bowl contention. Like, the Steelers started 11-0. When you go 11-0, I'm thinking, oh, y'all about to go to the AFC Championship game. But until this offense gets more explosive, that's why I have a few reservations and a few concerns.
Well, yeah, they've lost their balance because of injury and because of play calling for whatever reason. Last 3 games, Ben Roethlisberger averaging 50 pass attempts in those 3 games. That's just too much. I mean, especially at a tender age where Ben Roethlisberger finds himself, you can't be out there throwing the ball out of balance to that degree. So once you get Connor back, you get Pouncey back, and you just commit more to a balanced attack, then I think they'll be fine in terms of what they're doing. Don't forget, Ben is having a tremendous year. 27 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. So he's 5th in the NFL in terms of touchdown passes. This is a situation where the Steelers lead in takeaways. They lead in sacks. That means they're going to get to your quarterback. Points per game allowed, point per game differential, which I love, and are tied for the lead in turnover differential. This is a team that can play complementary football. It just needs to get healthy and also commit back to what its DNA is. And that's why I love what Tomlin was saying. And in longer sound, you can hear him talking, almost implying this was a good loss. We've been seeing the Steelers leaking oil, and the check engine light was on for a few weeks here. Let's go back to that Ravens game where Tomlin said, hey, y'all look junior varsity out there. We all saw the Dallas Cowboys game and that nail biter, and then we saw them lose yesterday to the Washington football team. Sometimes there is a good loss because for some reason, as a collective, when you win, a lot of guys shut down in terms of learning experience, in terms of them learning from that moment. They're like, we won. We get caught up in the outcome, where the coach, Mike Tomlin, is caught up in the performance. He's like, look, you continue to play this way, it's going to come back to bite you. And it finally did. But let's just be real about it, guys. They've been leaking oil for a few weeks here. It was good for them to get that message that no matter how good you are, how perfect your record is, you still got to go out there and take care of responsibilities.
Look, so Acho, you talk about the need and the necessity for them to be able to have the explosive plays, but how do you counter that? When you don't have the explosive plays, you possess the ball. This team is 3rd in the NFL in time of possession. And with a defense like that, you keep them fresh, you possess the ball, you create this horizontal passing game, which is an extension of the running attack that you don't already have. And that's how you combat the lack of down the field explosive plays. And then you equate the drops that they've had, which have been down the field, which could entertain some potential explosive opportunities. You possess the ball and defenses struggle. You wear them down. You keep them on the field. You have opportunities to sustain drives and put points on the board. So I get it. You do want explosive plays, but if you can average 32 minutes a game of holding on to the football, your odds of winning go up in this league.
That's all y'all got to say? Oh, all right. I thought Acho had one more lap in him. My bad. I got one more nugget for you. They had a 3-game stretch, big dog.
Of course you do, Marcellus.
Well, I'm a nerd. I'm sorry, man. Don't let none of this fool you. I'm a nerd. Big, fat nerd. All right, 3-game stretch, 12 days. Have y'all ever played 3 games in 12 days? Me either. And that's what the Steelers have to do right now, enduring. They had Baltimore, Washington, and it's going to end in Buffalo. Tough stretch to grade them, Acho, and say that they're not contenders and not elite anymore. How dare you? Coming up, Cam Newton isn't putting up big stats, but the Patriots are still winning. We'll tell you if Cam has proven he's New England's franchise quarterback. Next, speak for yourself. Cam has also thrown for less than 100 yards in back-to-back games and said today, quote, "It's not the sexiest thing to see a quarterback throw for 69 yards. You think? Greg is back, but Acho has Cam proven he's the franchise quarterback for the Patriots despite not sexy numbers.
Yo, I can't wait for you to try to twist this one, Marcel.
Oh, it's coming.
As a master contortionist, I can't wait to hear this. No, Cam Newton ain't proven he's a franchise quarterback. Now get this. Cam Newton has 186 passing yards a game. If this was 1950, I'd say yes, he's a franchise quarterback, because that would have ranked him 3rd behind Bobby Lane and George Ratterman.
Wow.
But it's 2020, Marcellus, and so Cam Newton's 186 passing yards a game rank him 31st. You have to show me in what world, in what planet, on what sport his Cam Newton's, I don't know what, his 69 passing yards last game shown you that he's franchise? In what world has Cam Newton's, 85-yard passing game 2 weeks ago shown you that he was franchise for this Patriots team? Cam Newton's special teams unit is putting up just about as many points a game as he is last game. So I don't know how. And honestly, I'm going to stop talking because you're going to talk yourself into a hole with this take. So please, Marcellus, the floor is yours.
It better be a big asshole if I'm getting in it. And you know I am about to talk myself right into something. Yes, Cam Newton is a franchise quarterback for the New England Patriots. Let's go down this journey, this path. Here's a story about Cam Newton, who was picked up by the Patriots June 28th. It was late, no offseason, right? No offseason. Cam gets the playbook. He's looking at it. He's like, chapter 1, chapter 100, chapter 1,000, volume 2. Okay, fine. And we go out there and play. Cam Newton wins the Miami game with a different style than the Patriot way. Belichick's like, I need to rein him in a little bit. That was good, but that's not exactly how we play the quarterback position. Run first, but hey, that's Cam Newton. Fine. Then he goes out to Seattle. He said, we're going to change this around. We're going to balance this out. Throw the football. And that close to beating Seattle, which at that time looked perfect and was perfect. And Cam Newton, even though in a loss, we were sitting there like, whoa, new dimension to the quarterback position in New England. And don't forget how we were thinking of Cam Newton early part of the season. Then COVID comes and rocks Cam Newton. Oh, my God. And not only did it rock him, it kind of took him back. It took him so far back that he started to go back to some old bad habits and turning the football over. And Belichick said, rein him in, rein him fully in. Let's strip him down to the fundamental level so we can build him back up as the quarterback of the future for our Patriots. And why do I know that occurred? Because all of a sudden, all the passing numbers started to come back to where he was now and where he is going to be going forward. Because that's the Patriot way. Complimentary football. Tom Brady, early Tom Brady, look at the numbers. Oh, we don't need all that. Just don't turn the ball over, which the Patriots are 4-1 when Cam doesn't turn the ball over. And then let the defense, let our special teams play complimentary football. And then you're just a cherry on top. Game manager or GOAT, anywhere in between, you'll find yourself Cam Newton if you buy into the Patriot way. And that's where Cam Newton is right now. He has been stripped down to just doing fundamental franchise quarterback play for the Patriots. But there is a future with Cam Newton in New England.
Marcellus.
Oh, damn.
Man, I want to be on your side.
Well, come on.
I want to.
Come on,
but the only reason I want to be on your side is because I love Cam. I really enjoy Cam, and I want the best for Cam.
Here come the shots.
But Acho, he's not the franchise quarterback you're looking for.
God, y'all tripping.
He's just not. There's nothing that jumps out in the statistics that support that. There's nothing that jumps out on film that supports that. The one positive that I've come to know right now is he's not turning the ball over as he was in those losses.
That's huge.
And like you said, that's what will allow them to win, because defensively we know that they're not going to beat themselves. The special teams, as Acho alluded to, they're going to probably win that phase. All we need you to do is to just stick to the game plan and not screw it up. And Acho, since when have you known a franchise quarterback to be asked to just don't mess it up? Just don't. No, you put the weight on their shoulders. Am I right? Like, you put the weight on their shoulders. You don't ask them to not mess it up. You ask them to get us through this. Do something special. And that's what we have not seen with Cam Newton. We haven't seen that Cam Newton of old, to where you can put the load on him and ask him to be Superman and win us a football game. When you start to ask a quarterback to pull back and just you know what, just get the ball, hand the ball off, just run it, don't throw it in the red zone whatsoever, because of the potential risk of turnover. Don't do that. That's not letting me know. That's not leading me to believe that you even believe he is your franchise quarterback.
Ooh, that's a good take. Marcellus, I got a question for you, big bro, if I may. How much is Cam Newton making this year? Or roughly, you don't gotta give me that.
A little over $1 million. A little over.
I don't know, how does he have enough money to be paying you to keep putting these takes out with that $1 million? That's honestly what I'm trying to figure out. If he only making I don't know how he has enough money to have you on his payroll as well. Let me put this in context, America. Cam Newton has 4.1 yards per carry the last 2 games. Cam Newton has 4.1 yards per pass the last 2 games. How you got just as many yards running the ball than you got passing the ball the last 2 games?
Damn, Cam!
Imagine a pilot. Imagine a pilot for a predominant airline, and he's driven more mileage than he has flown. Like, imagine a pilot who has driven more mileage than he has flown. Y'all would be like, what? But I'm going to do you one more, and then I'm going to stop.
I don't need no more.
Like Greg, I love Cam. I'm going to do you one more.
Okay.
Cam Newton throws a touchdown pass 1.8% of the time he throws a pass. That means out of 100 passes, every 1.8 times Cam will throw a touchdown pass. Marcellus, I didn't go to Columbia. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to Yale. Didn't go to Dartmouth. Didn't go to any of those other Northern Eastern schools. But I know one thing. That ain't good math, big bro.
Strong from a guy who says if you take an easy test, you can't tell if he's intelligent or not. But you get 2 degrees from Texas. How do I know if you're smart or not? You can catch that joke later. All right, here's the thing.
Top 50 school.
Top 50, that means you 50. You ain't top 50, you 50. Nobody ever says that and they're like number 2. We're top 50. No, you're 50, fool. All right, let me say that. Hey, that Cam Nugget about him rushing the ball more than he's throwing the football might be the best nugget I've ever heard in my life. How do I come back from that? I don't. I dodge it, and I go somewhere else. And I reset the conversation by what did Cam Newton need to do to prove that he was a franchise quarterback once again? Why am I on his payroll, even though I'm not? Because Cam Newton has been a franchise quarterback before. Cam Newton has been an MVP before. Y'all letting what y'all see right now fool you into thinking he can't be what he was before, or even better than what that was, because he's going to learn how to play the quarterback position fundamentally from the ground up. Let's be real about it. Cam Newton had to check the first box. Injury, durability, whatever you want to call it. Cam, you've been hurt of late. That's why there are not a lot of suitors for you. Hey, I'm sorry, big dog. We don't know if you can play your style and still stay out there healthy. Check. Other than COVID, whatever. And then you talk about the situation with his accuracy. Everyone's like, Cam, you've only had 1 great year in terms of accuracy. Oh, Cam has now said, I have 2 great years in terms of accuracy. To the point where Cam Newton, if you squint, is doing some things better than even Tom Brady did last year in his departing year from the Patriots. Completion percentage. Tom Brady, 27th last year. Cam Newton, 18th. Ooh, interesting. Who would expect that you're going to be more accurate with the football with Cam Newton than Tom Brady? What about passing yards per attempt? Because Acho likes to clown the pilot of Cam Newton. Well, this year's 19th. Last year, 27th with Tom Brady. The GOAT. Is Cam beating Tom Brady in some statistical categories passing? Yes, he is. I give it to you like this, Acho, and let me know if you want to retort. Back in the days when I was super single like you, I used to do too much. I was in them streets. Oh, I was in them streets heavy. Had a Ferrari. First day I got it. Caught up in the streets, doing too much on a nice date with a nice young lady, and I was just in the moment, in the zone. Got into a little fender bender. Ferrari messed up, all jacked up. I was going too fast, all that. I was a fool. Now, people were calling me, and I had well-wishers. You okay, Wally? Heard you wrecked the Ferrari. Ferrari okay? Everything good, Wally? Ferrari okay? Whatever. All of a sudden, I get this one phone call. Hey, heard you wrecked your Ferrari. Can you sell me those parts? Can we strip it down and you sell it to me as a salvage? I was like, you want all the parts? You want what's left of this Ferrari? He said, hell yeah. That's one way those people who don't buy it off the lot can get it. You know what Cam Newton is right now? A salvage Ferrari, stripped down to all the pieces, where Acho will look at it like, look at that old wrecked, messed up Ferrari. But smart people out there and smart money is saying, I could put that thing back together even better than it was before. That's who Cam Newton is.
So you're saying Cam Newton got totaled, is what you're saying?
Yeah, in 2018. Yeah, he got totaled.
That's what that sounded like, G.
A year and a half off almost.
And you should just go ahead and get what you can get for him.
Hey, I take a total.
Hey, here's what I do, Sel.
What?
Here's what I do when I get in a car wreck. I go to the garage. I see what else I have in there. I see, oh, is that a Jared Stidham? Maybe that's drivable. Let me take this Jared Stidham out and just see what happens. Get out of here, Sel. Go
Oh, man. All right. You go out there and try and have some fun in the Jared Stidham mobile and see how many numbers you get. Coming up in our big story, Lamar Jackson's Ravens need a win tonight. But so do the Cowboys. Oh, we'll tell you which team needs it more. Next, speak for yourself. Welcome back. The Ravens host the Cowboys tonight on Fox. Baltimore is reeling right now with 3 straight losses, but they're expected to have Lamar Jackson back in the lineup. On the other side, the Cowboys have lost 5 out of 6, and a loss tonight would drop them 2 games back in the NFC East. Greg is with us, but Acho, without the glasses this time. Which team needs a win more tonight, Ravens or Cowboys?
Gentlemen, there's so many layers to this take, and I'm going to dice them up all for you. It's the Ravens, and hear me out as to why. Everybody on the low-hanging fruit end of the spectrum will obviously say, the Ravens got to keep pace with the Colts. Colts are 8-4. Yes, the Ravens have that head-to-head tiebreaker, but if the Ravens want to make the playoffs, they got to jump 2 places. I'm not even as worried about that. Here's what I'm truly worried about. Lamar Jackson and his future and the perception of Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. What do I mean? More now than ever is the NFL showing they can catch up to teams, catch up to players, catch up to schemes. Lamar Jackson came into this year when asked about Patrick Mahomes. He said, I got to win a Super Bowl. I got to get to where he's at. The only thing Lamar Jackson truly hasn't accomplished, or we still have questions about, can he win playoff games? How is he as a passer? Can he get to the Super Bowl? Well, you can't win a Super Bowl if you don't even get to the playoffs. If they don't get to the playoffs, the whole thing will now get blown up. How can you blow up something in which you built specifically for Lamar? Can we show him the full screen, please? Think about when you drafted Lamar Jackson. You drafted 2 tight ends, Hayden Hurst in the first round, Mark Andrews. Then the next year, you only drafted the fastest player coming out of college in Marquise Hollywood Brown. Then this past year, 2nd round pick, running back, 3rd round pick, speedster receiver. You literally built your entire roster around Lamar Jackson and the success you would hope you would have with Lamar Jackson. You lose to the Cowboys. Not only are you not likely winning a Super Bowl, you're probably not making the playoffs, and now you have to consider blowing the entire thing up. You go from being the hunted to now being the hunter. That is why the Ravens so desperately need to win this game.
I like that take. Can't be mad at that take. We're flying at different altitude right now, and this is why I think it's the Cowboys who need this. One, because it's a simple reason. If the Cowboys lose this game, they're toast. Done. if the Ravens lose this game, they still got some wiggle room, even though they'll be on life support. So, Acho, I would ask you, would you rather be dead or dying? Yeah, most people would rather be dying, not dead. So guess what? The Cowboys know that, right? It depends on how you're dying, though. I ain't lying there. Let me stop, boy. I don't been to too many funerals. All right, so they're the Cowboys with the third easiest schedule remaining in the NFL. And they're in a situation like, well, the Ravens don't necessarily count, do they? In terms of that being an easy part of our schedule. So we need to take care of business, but let's be realistic. If we don't, there's still some hay for us going forward. So if you look at a division, Cowboys in their division, this is what's happening right now with their rivals. Washington football team has won 3 in a row. The Giants have won 4 in a row. So if the Cowboys are in the NFC East trying to catch up and close that gap, they have to do something tonight. I know it's the Ravens, but still, this is going to kill you if you don't go out there and get the dub.
I'm 100% with Acho on this one. And for a slightly different reason, it's definitely the Ravens. And because for me, I believe that their window of opportunity as a team, not just because of Lamar Jackson, is closing. When you look within their division, we thought going into this season, okay, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens, then potentially the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns, give or take that order. But as we have seen, Cincinnati has a quarterback that, yes, he got hurt, but if he gets back on track, this team starts to build. They got some first-round draft pick capital. They can get better. Where does that leave the Baltimore Ravens? Are they third in this division? Are they fourth in this division? Because clearly they're not first because the Pittsburgh Steelers are there. Clearly they're not second right now because the Cleveland Browns have proven that they have a better defense. They have a quarterback that is playing even better than Lamar Jackson right now. And so they're more sure-sounding teams than the Baltimore Ravens within their division. And again, I haven't even gotten really to the Cincinnati Bengals, and I know everybody's going to jump on the Bengals and say, oh, they don't have a chance. Maybe Burrow isn't even available next year. But the window is closing, and so if they want to accomplish that Super Bowl that he's chasing, their opportunities are very short. That window is narrowing quickly and vastly. So they have to jump on this opportunity right now. The Cowboys, you're without Dak Prescott. So you have time. That will be back, and they will be better. We know that. So I give them a pass, but I can't give the Baltimore Ravens that pass right now.
It's crazy, man. You just said the window was closing. Man, the window was just open. This is only Lamar Jackson's second year as a full-time starter.
Woo. And that's how it goes.
Oh, really? Grand opening, grand closing, huh? That's how fast it happens. Yes. Boy, y'all better stop. Cleveland can't even beat the Ravens yet. I don't want to hear that. Coming up, Washington and the Giants both had big upsets this week. But we'll tell you who has more impressive in their start this year, this week, next. Speak for yourself. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Washington upset the previously unbeaten Steelers yesterday. The football team sealed their third straight win by picking off Ben Roethlisberger with 2 minutes left. While their NFC East rivals, the Giants, won their fourth straight by beating the Seahawks Sunday behind their defense that sacked Russell Wilson 5 times and forced 2 turnovers. So, Acho, which team had a more impressive win, Washington or the G-Men?
Big dog, I'm going to say Washington did, but you know what's crazy? I was thinking about this watching both of those games this past 48 hours. Think about the fact of, like, the NFC least has been the laughing stock of football the entire season. But all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, neither Washington nor the Giants are going to be an easy outcome playoff time. So we laughed early on, but I think they might end up getting a last laugh here in about 5 weeks or so. I'm saying Washington, however, because of this reason. Steelers, historically great franchise. Washington hadn't beat the Steelers in 6 attempts since 1991. I'm saying Washington because, yes, like the Giants, they went on the road, won that game. But I also think it's harder to be the follow-up act. Hey, Sal, you remember in football during warm-up drills or whatever, coach would be like, hey, who wants to go first? I would always say me because you can't compare me to anybody else. Ooh, see, the Giants went first. Now all the pressure is on Washington because after the Giants just beat the Seahawks, won 4 in a row, Washington's looking around like, man, they got the head-to-head, they got the tiebreaker, and they've already won and beat the Seahawks. So for me, Washington was the worst team, and Washington beat a better team in the Steelers. Washington's victory is more impressive, although the Giants, incredibly impressive last month.
Wow, interesting. Oh, man, I'm about to go on the other side of that. I thought you would say the Giants as well to cleanse your soul of all your wrongdoings and how you thought that team was going to be only a 2-win team. Now they have a 4-game win streak, and they beat the Seattle Seahawks, who had won 2 games going into it. Interesting. So they weren't playing a reeling Seahawks team, as a lot of the public perception may suggest. I'm looking at this team that has won 4 straight, 5-2 in the last 7 games. Remember, these are the Giants that only won 2 road games last year. Now 3 of their 4 wins in this win streak have been on the road. So a team that has matched this win total that it had in the last 4 seasons, already at 5 wins, I think that was a strong win. But you also got to look at the fact that this is a team that is trying to reset its culture, and it looks like it's starting to reset it and rebuild it right before our very eyes. Joe Judge is literally in Coach of the Year conversations right now. Who would have thought that? I know Acho wouldn't have. I know I didn't even think that. And now they're in this position that they're in right now and leading the division. Oh, you got to respect what the G-men out there doing.
This is a hard conversation because sometimes I don't like negotiating between great and greater. Both of these teams, great stories. Alex Smith, comeback player of the year.
Yes.
Ron Rivera, battling cancer, still balling as a head coach. Joe Judge, against all odds, against all doubt, my doubt included, has his team winning 4 straight with a backup quarterback, Colt McCoy, who hadn't won since 2014. So both teams played great, but here's the differentiating factor for me, Big Dog Cell. 5 minutes left on the clock. Steelers got the ball, 3rd and 1 to go ahead, win the game. Washington makes a stop. Okay, Steelers go for it, 4th and 1. Washington makes a stop. Washington then kicks a field goal, goes up 20-17. Ben Roethlisberger gets the ball back with 2 minutes, 4 seconds left. I'm kicked up on the couch watching this big man, future Hall of Famer. At a minimum, he's marching down the field to tie the game. Realistically, he's probably going to go down the field and win the game. First offensive play, Ben Roethlisberger, interception to Washington. Those 3 plays for me told me this Washington team wanted that. That's the only reason I'm going to say that they had the better performance.
Okay, I buttoned it up by saying the Giants, they just now finished having 3 straight games of their opponents having 17 points or fewer. Last time that happened for the Giants, 2009. You weren't even in the league yet. Wow. Coming up, the Cowboys and Ravens have a big game tonight, and Uncle Jimmy has something to say about it. Don't miss this. Next, speak for yourselves. Before we go, the Cowboys and Ravens match up tonight on Fox. Uncle Jimmy is with us. So, Jimmy, I hear you have something to say about Lamar Jackson. Be nice.
Look, man, this game tonight is one of those games that's going to have far more implications for Lamar Jackson than it's going to have for the Baltimore Ravens. Okay? See, Lamar Jackson's not crazy. He just looked like he crazy. Lamar Jackson's a mobile quarterback in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson knows what happens to mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. See, Lamar Jackson loves RG3, but he don't want his career to end up like RG3 because he knows RG3 was a mobile quarterback in the NFL. He loves Cam Newton, but he don't want his career to end up like Cam Newton. I mean, hey, he loves Tyrod Taylor, but he also don't want to have to go to work and get shanked in the back by a doctor either. Okay? Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. Look,
listen, we here.
Hey, I'm just trying to tell you, Lamar Jackson, you go out there tonight and lose if you will. I'm going to call you tomorrow and say you a heavily tatted Taysom Hill. I'm just warning, okay? You better do what you're supposed to do, Lamar. Okay?
Live next.